Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the three most common specialty bars for squats. And these, of course, carry over to the good morning as well. And I didn't put any good morning footage up in this one. But you guys will see me doing ME squats, you'll see me doing DE squats, which stands for max effort and dynamic effort, using these three different bars. So we're talking about the safety squat bar, which is the one with the handles in the front, the Cambered Bar, which is the bar that looks like kind of a box hanging all the way down to your sides, right? The weight's off center, and then the Buffalo Bar, which is the bent one. Looks like it's been bent from lifting too heavy, but it's technically not, because you'll notice the sides are straight. The collars are straight out, so there's no bend in those. It's just bent in the middle, and it's usually a heavier bar. It's usually a squat type bar in terms of the thickness, because it's already bent so that it can handle, real weights like 1,000 pounds. So what are the benefits of these? Well, they all do different things. One of the things to keep in mind, all three of them are easy on the shoulders. So what does that mean? Well, that means they're easier to get under, easier on your shoulders for people who have shoulder inflammation, shoulder pain, things like that. Even people who want to do high volumes of this stuff but need to do a lot of bench work, right? Even if you're bench specializing a bit while doing higher volumes of squatting and good mornings, all three of these bars are useful because they relieve stress on the shoulders. And that's a big deal. That's, one of the problems we do run into with the normal straight bar, power bar, squat bars, any of those. And I actually own a squat bar too, which I've done videos on. But that's one of the things they all do. And they do it through different ways. The most subtle of them is, of course, what you guys see me using here, the Buffalo Bar, because it's bent a little bit. And it just lets you get the hands and the arms a little bit lower. It can relieve some stress on the shoulders, the elbows, stuff like that. Now, the difference between this and the others, it doesn't change the bar path. Like even Chris Duffin, who's a friend of mine, he has the Buffalo Bar, which is his version of this bar. Chris Duffin, Buffalo. It's a nice little marketing tool. And it's, of course, pretty expensive, but it is really, really durable. But he's got one of these, and he said the reason he always messed with it was that, and with his lifters, is because you could lift the same weights and have the same bar path as the traditional squat. So you could go easy on your shoulders going into a meet, and you could still have the right setup and know what you could lift with that bar. Because that's the difference between that and these other bars. You will not have the same strength curve. You will usually lift less on these other bars. Now, occasionally you find the rare individual who lifts more than their normal back squat with some of these bars. It does happen. They are out there. I've met people, and people say that can't be true. With that safety bar, it's always weaker. No. I've met a couple of guys who can squat more with this bar, with the safety bar. Okay, so they're rare. 90% of people will squat less. To put that in context, so that's how rare actually squatting more is, let alone the same. The same is even rare. But the Buffalo Bar changes things the least, and it mainly just kind of saves your shoulders. Lets your shoulders and arms get into a slightly easier position as far as stress goes on them while maintaining the same bar path. It doesn't really swing. It doesn't change the center of gravity in any significant amount. Okay, so that's a big deal. It can also be used for benching to change the range of motion, so it's also useful for that. All right, these other bars, you see the safety squat bar that I was using, the one with the handles in front. Well, it is almost a mix between a front squat and a back squat. In other words, it pulls the weight further forward. It changes the center of gravity and moves it forward several inches. Okay, what do you do on a front squat? You do the same thing. In fact, just trying to keep that bar midfoot, we have to stay more upright on a front squat, or else we dump the bar. It replicates that to a large extent while doing what? Being easy on the shoulders, because our hands are out in front. It's way easier than even gripping a safety bar. Okay, but it gives you a lot of the benefits of the front squat, and it builds your upper back. So it can help develop your T-spine while still working the lower body in a squat pattern, But yeah, it can help develop and strengthen your upper back because it will put stress on your thoracic spine more. It'll try to pull you forward, and you'll have to fight against that, and it will force you to contract those muscles harder. They'll get worked harder. More stress will be put on them. So it's good for building your upper back. It's why people use it. And just being easy on your shoulders. So again, it's one reason we even use it for the speed work there. Just easy to get under. You can just do it, knock it out. So what about the Cambered Bar, the other one that you'll see? It's a different beast. I like the Cambered Bar for good mornings. Everyone who gets under it and does good mornings like, wow, this just is made for the strength curve of the good morning, the way it swings. It's perfect. But what does it do? It's got the weight lower down. It swings. And it tends to pull you backwards. So the safety bar pulls you forward, more forward than a traditional bar. The Cambered Bar, which again, the big black one you'll see on here, where the weights are down at your waist, that one pulls you back and it tends to swing on you. So what are our benefits there? It teaches you to control the eccentric. Because if you try to dive bomb and go too fast on the eccentric and don't control and stay tight, or you have any looseness, that bar will swing back and pull you out of your groove. So it forces you to stay tight so that it swings less, because it's going to swing. You guys notice when I do it heavy, even when I walk it out, it swings side to side, it swings in front because the weights are hanging down. All right, it is unstable. And you can't stay as tight when you're walking out, so it's going to tend to swing. But once you're set up, it teaches you to stay tight. Because if you don't, it will swing on you. And it's not pleasant when it does, especially with a heavy weight. So it pulls you back, so it's the exact opposite, and then it forces you to stay tight. Okay? But it is the opposite of the safety squat bar. The safety squat bar pulls you forward, whereas in the Cambered Bar tends to pull you backwards because it'll swing back and pull you back. So on the other one, you tend to dump forward and your chest will dump and you'll fail stuff that way. The other one, it'll jerk you backwards because that swing will try to pull back. And so it almost forces you to try to lean forward more just to avoid that, so that you don't lose your center of gravity and fall back. So it's an opposite effect, whereas you don't have that same swinging to a great degree with the Buffalo Bar. So the Buffalo Bar is the closest to the same center of gravity, same everything as a traditional squat, just a little easier on your shoulders, right? So it's very, very similar. The others are dramatically different bars, but they're even easier on your shoulders. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.